they're doing an assignment, which we call the aging action assignment, where they're supposed to try to make a difference, change some people's impressions of aging by doing some kind of action.
Well, we want to talk about the aging action really quickly to get some ideas out. Griffith, what did you just write?
I wrote perception and image of aging and age, kind of like along the lines of what the AARP lady was talking about.
Chance to think, but haven't had a chance.
So an idea I had was when we were experimenting with our community partner, we noticed that a lot of the signs at Olin don't have Braille, which is kind of like weird.
I don't know if this is like an idea or an experiment, but I said like I kind of just wanted to like take pictures of like my community and others similar to it to like raise conversations, show like if the relationship between like race, income, and like how do people like the age and how like that affects how much they work and stuff. I don't know if it's like an experiment or an
And have like a photo display of it.
yeah.
We're using the Innovators Compass that we use throughout the class.
So we sort of collect observations throughout the semester. What do we see happening for aging adults around us and in all of the different sort of stimulus and films and things that we watch in this class? Why do we think those things are happening? And why do we see things this way? You know, what's our own sort of bias or lens?
It's about thinking about their own experiences and the experiences of people as they age in society.
All the doors at Olin open weird ways, which kind of bothers us, but when you actually can't see which way a door opens, it's really difficult, and it took them a long time to navigate those spaces. And that got us kind of talking about accessible design as a whole.
They have some principles that matter in terms of people's experiences as they grow older, and then they have some ideas on how to impact that, and they want to try out something. One team made some attractive looking posters. They hung them up all over campus, and they were about financial abuse of older adults. So, you know, scams for tricking old people out of their money. So they hung up these provocative posters, and then outside the dining hall, they put up a big whiteboard on this topic and just asked people for comments, and there were all sorts of comments about this topic. Another case, a student was just telling me her grandmother's in India, and so she organized an event where about 7 students came to a room, and this student's grandmother Skyped in, had a video call from India, and they had prepared some questions in advance, like a bunch of things just to get to know her. And apparently it was just great. The student said her grandmother said about meeting her grandfather, this student had never heard. And so it was a thing just to get people to know each other across generations and then to have a conversation about what are some things you just learned. One of the teams collected stories from some of our community partners.
Be having a date that was that exciting. And the rest is history.
It was like this nice little zine, little magazine, where it was photos of each person and their stories. It was beautiful.
The goal of design and the reason that people teach design is because design is one of many ways you can have impact in the world. You can try to make the world a different place than it was when you showed up to it. And this class certainly shows that, first and foremost at an intimate level, how you can change the world for one person. But the goal of this experiment is to feel like you can actually take some action, that you can actually change the way things are around you at this bigger level. Most of the experiments are at the Olin level, right? They're sort of this community or some other small community that people might try to affect. And yet, that's significant. So that's the beginning. That's a step to feeling like you can make a bigger difference.